Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a review slash thought video for this week. And for this one, it's going to be a double review at all. So I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, the sequel to the 1988 movie Beetlejuice that I just came back from the theaters and watching. And I also want to give my thoughts on Season 1 of Amazon Prime's Batman Crusaders, which I just finished this week watching. For parents out there, it's worth pointing out that Beetlejuice Beetlejuice is rated PG-13 here in the US, while Batman Crusader is rated TV-14 here in the US and all. But we'll get started off with the first part, which will be Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Now, as someone who grew up in the 80s, though, I mean, there were a lot of things I remember watching growing up as a kid, though. Obviously, there was stuff like Ninja Turtles and everything like that, to even, Batman the Animated Series and Beetlejuice as well. I remember maybe vaguer here and there watching the movie back then, but most of the time I remember watching the original Saturday morning cartoon that premiered and everything like that, though. But Beetlejuice is definitely a very, iconic role and everything that Michael Keaton had played, especially when he has also done other movies with Tim Burton, like, the original Batman and Batman Returns and everything like that. So to hear that they were going to do a sequel to the movie from the 1988 movie, though, and basically be released this year, I was kind of surprised to see that, though, and I was wondering if this one could hold up as much as the original 80s movie, though. And after coming home and seeing the movie in theaters and everything like that, I honestly have to say that Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, at least in my view, is basically one of the few cases where the sequel is as good as the original in any way. And I think that certainly is a good thing indeed. So we'll break it down into what I like and what I didn't like, mixed or I'm not 100% sure about. In terms of what I like, though, I will say the way Tim Burton's style, in terms of some of the features he does in this film, still holds up even after all these years. I like how they use some of the stop motion for some of the characters, like the sandworms and everything like that. The way it was shot, to even some of the style, and which he's known to do some, I would say, depending on the certain films, he'll do sort of a dark gothic style and everything like that, and that still holds up very well in this film and everything like that. So it's certainly nice that Tim Burton's style is still there and everything like that, and I certainly think that is a very good thing indeed. The next thing I do want to talk about is some of the cast, and I will say most of the original cast do return for this film and everything like that. Like Winona Ryder returns playing her character, along with some of the original ones here and there and all that stuff. While not all of the cast has returned, it's still basically some of them have returned, and I certainly think that is nice indeed. So yeah, some of the casts are there, some unfortunately don't return and everything like that, though. But still, it was nice that they were able to get some of the original cast back in this film and everything. The next thing, which is a follow-up to the original cast, is of course Michael Keaton, and even after all these years, he still holds up very well in terms of playing Beetlejuice. He certainly knocks it out of the park and everything like that. So I certainly think he's done a good job playing that role. I think it looks great and everything, and I still think he does a good job playing the character and everything like that. And finally, the story. In terms of the story for the film, I will say it was definitely enjoyable. It was nice to see, Winona Ryder character interact with her daughter and everything like that, and also tie into sort of a love interest, or a former love interest towards Beetlejuice, and basically and they do kind of a bit of a nod to the first Beetlejuice movie and everything like that. So it was certainly nice. Plus, we got to see a bit of a backstory to Beetlejuice to a certain degree. So that certainly, in my opinion, held up very well indeed. So I certainly like that and all. So to me, the story was certainly enjoyable. As far as what I didn't like, mixed, or not 100% sure about, I will say one character in here, I believe it was Jermey, played by Arthur Conti. Apologize if I'm not saying his last name correctly. I just felt like to him, he was kind of, in my view, sort of a useless villain in this movie, though. Although he did play a part, his part was just very, very minor and just went by very quickly, though. I just didn't feel like there was no point really having him in the story, considering that the main story is obviously with Beetlejuice dealing with his, ex-lover out to get him and everything like that. So I just didn't feel like it didn't seem kind of useless to have him as a villain and everything. So I just felt like he was a useless villain and all. Overall, I would say I came away pleased with Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, the sequel and everything like that. It's like I said before, it's one of the rarest cases where I see the sequel hold up just as well as the original one and everything. At its best, though, the art style and the style that Tim Burton is known for is still there. Most of the original cast, not all, but most, do return. Michael Keaton still does a good job playing Beetlejuice, and I did enjoy the story. But at its worst, I felt like Jermey just seemed like I said, was a useless villain, so I really didn't think he had its place in the sequel to Beetlejuice and everything like that. But in either case, though, as someone who grew up in the 80s, I enjoyed the sequel. It took a long time coming, but it certainly was nice that we finally got a sequel. I am hoping maybe we could finally get maybe a third entry, and I'm jinxing it, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Hopefully we get third one sort of like to conclude the trilogy. That would be really great if we get a chance to see like a sequel and everything like that, a third entry and all. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2. And this one will be my take on Amazon Prime's Season 1 of Batman Caped Crusader. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my double review. And for this one, we're going to be talking about, or at least I'm going to give my review / thoughts on, is Season 1 of Amazon Prime's Batman Caped Crusader. And just for parents out there, it's worth pointing out that Batman Caped Crusader, in case you missed it, is rated TV-14 here in the US and all. Now, when it comes to Batman cartoons, there are plenty out there, to be exact, though. For me, growing up, being born in the 80s, but growing up in the 80s and 90s, the ones that I remember the most are, Batman the Animated Series, along with others like, Superman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, the Justice League, and all. And these were all done by Bruce Timm, who worked in the animation department for basically for the work at WB and everything like that. And that still remains one of my favorite Batman cartoons out there. There have been others like The Batman, which I don't think are bad or anything like that, and Batman the Brave and Bold, which is okay though, but for me, it's always been Batman the Animated series and everything like that. So it was kind of interesting to hear how Bruce Timm, the creator of that series, was coming back, and this time working on another entry called Batman Caped Crusader, along with J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves, who directed, The Batman and everything like that. So I was very curious to see how this was going to be done, not to mention the fact that it was going to be on Amazon Prime and not Max, which I thought was kind of a bit odd for WB to do that. And after watching all 10 episodes on Amazon Prime, I will say that I enjoyed this show and everything like that, but at the same time, I didn't feel like it's not near the same level as, say, Batman the Animated Series, but still enjoyable, nevertheless, at least in my book, though. So I'm going to break it down, as always, into what I like and what I didn't like, mix, I'm not sure about, though. In terms of what I like about Batman Caped Crusaders, I like the fact that they went with that, 1940s, 1950s noir look, though. This was kind of similar to what we saw with, Batman the Animated Series to a certain degree, and I like that they were able to continue to maintain that style and all, and I think it really sort of fits the style for Batman, Caped Crusader and all, though, ranging from like how some of the characters looked and all to basically some of the music. So I really like that they went with that style and everything like that. In terms of cast and crew, though, I was very curious to see who was going to voice Batman, since, you know, the late Kevin Conway, if I'm saying his, if I'm saying his last name correctly, you know, passed away. He will always be remembered as the person who voiced Batman and everything like that. And I will say the new person who voiced him, Hamish Linklater, I apologize for not saying his name correctly, though. I think he did a good job voicing Batman. Same with Jason Watkins, who voiced Alfred. I mean, in a way, you kind of can feel like it's the original voice actors who voiced the original Batman the Animated Series to a certain degree. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Yes, it's not the original voice actors and all, but I still think that they did a pretty good job with voicing, you know, Batman, Bruce Wayne, and everything, and Alfred Pennyworth. So I will say the voice acting was definitely not bad for the show and everything. And last but not least, in terms of my favorite, I have to say episode 9 and 10, The Killer Inside Me and Savage Night. I really enjoy those episodes the most, especially when we finally see Harvey Dent after the fallout effect from the acid that, you know, turned him into the villain, Two-Face and everything like that. I thought it was nice to see when we watch, you know, like Harvey Dent sort of get, you know, start losing it and everything like that, and with Two-Face. So I think, to me, those were my favorite episode in Batman Caped Crusade. As far as what I didn't like, mixed or not 100% sure about, I would say I was a little disappointed how I felt, and this might be a spoiler for those who haven't watched it, is that they kind of killed off Two-Face and everything like that, and I was a little disappointed with that because I would have loved to see him in season 2 and how things play out with him and everything like that. So I will admit I am kind of mixed on, a little bit mixed on them to do that. I don't know how season 2 is going to play out, but I was a little bit disappointed with the direction they went with Two-Face towards the end of season 1. And last but not least, and this one might be controversial, or some might call it political, however you want to call it, though, is I'm very mixed on the female penguin, aka Oswald Copperpot, played by Minnie Driver and everything like that. I'm not saying I'm entirely against it, though. I'm just don't agree with the approach they made in terms of, I mean, maybe if they had it where it's like the penguin's daughter is running the penguin's business and everything like that, that might have worked better, though. I do think that there are those who are going to be mixed with the idea of a female penguin and so forth. I don't think it's a huge deal, but I think they could have taken a better approach, such as, like, as I mentioned, the daughter of the penguin running his business and everything like that. I think they could have approached it a little bit differently with Oswald Copperpot and all. Overall, I would say I came away pleased with watching Batman Caped Crusaders. While it doesn't reach the same height as Batman the Animated Series, I still enjoyed the show nevertheless. At its best, though, the 40s, 50s noir look to it looks great and everything like that. I like the style that they went with that approach, though. I do think some of the voice acting, especially those that played Batman and Alfred, I think they did a very good job playing those roles carefully and everything like that. And episode 9 and 10 is sort of my favorite for season 1. As far as what I didn't like, but at its worst, let's just say, I didn't like how Two-Face was killed off and everything like that. And I am mixed with Oswald Copperpot, or female penguin, to be exact. Not against it, but just somewhat mixed with it. But in either case, though, I still came away pleased with this one. It may not reach the same height as Batman the Animated Series, but I still enjoyed it nevertheless. And I am looking forward to when season 2 does happen and everything like that. So overall, not bad. Enjoyed it, but just not to the same height as, you know, Bruce Timm's original Batman the Animated Series back in the 90s and all. And of course, also Batman Beyond to a certain degree. Okay, this concludes my double review for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice and Batman Cape Crusaders. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about basically Beetlejuice Beetlejuice? Do you think it is a respected sequel and all? Was this a movie you waited for a long time to see a sequel happen? Do you think Michael Keaton still knocks it out of the park as Beetlejuice and everything like that? Do you think the story was good? And what are your thoughts about Amazon Prime's Batman Cape Crusaders, though? Do you think that is a good take on the Batman series and everything like that? Do you like the look or the style for the setting for the show and everything? Are you mixed on the idea of a female penguin, aka Oswald Copperpot, and everything like that? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal Me or Patreon or Steam Labs. Links will be in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye.